Clay loses it to Rice. Marino, huge opportunity for Arsenal. Raiders level. And it's their captain, Bukayo Saka. Fury's on the overlap. Trossard! Terrific from Leandro Trossard to turn this one around for Arsenal. It's an absolute rocket.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with Larry and Stevie. And Stevie, first of all, how you doing? From my voice, you can tell that it wasn't the best of weekends, but how are you doing?
Yeah, as you can probably imagine, we're not really that happy, and I'm not that happy. I was really gutted yesterday, really depressed. I've got over it a bit today, but yesterday I felt so down. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure we'll talk about it.
I think sometimes these episodes, they feel like therapy, and I think this is one of those episodes where unfortunately we're both going to have to lay down on the couch and talk to the shrink. So look, it was disappointing. Like, it really, really was disappointing, because we had such a great chance and opportunity to extend our lead and, you know, put a lot more pressure on the teams following, but yeah, that was just such a... And the thing is, I even, said on the last episode, I said, this is the game where we are going to concede, but I'll be honest with you, right? I didn't think that it was going to be, this sort of scoreline. But unfortunately, it was one of the toughest challenges that we've had so far. I can safely say that, including the Champions League as well. This is definitely the toughest challenge that we've had, because we just could not find a way to break them down at all, and away from home. So, disappointing is probably the correct word, but there's a lot more to it really. But I'll tell you what, look, let's just start from the beginning. Let's start from the lineup. Was there any surprises, any shocks, anything that you were like, ooh, I don't like this guy? Maybe not in that voice, by the way. It could be in any voice.
What about, I don't like this guy?
That's fine. Absolutely fine. We are not getting cancelled today, sir.
Listen, that was, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst first half display I've seen this season. By far, the worst display. I mean, yes, I think at one point, didn't the commentators say that we're on the 34th minute and with balls being played 13 minutes, or the 40th minute it's been in play? It was fucking stop-start shit. It was really itty-bitty. But wow, I've never seen us play that bad. And to be fair, we were playing into their hands. Instead of playing our own game, it was like we were reacting to them instead of just playing our game. We were like falling into every trap that they laid, and it was so frustrating. And like you say, that I did turn it at half time. I was so disappointed at how bad it was. But we'll come on to it. Starting lineup, I thought it was pretty much what we could expect, really, because we didn't have anyone. I thought the bench was really poor, really weak bench. I was a bit surprised Calafiori playing. Personally, I don't know about you, but obviously, he's your man. I just thought Hincapié had a great game against Slavia Prague, and I thought he would have been chomping at the bit to do really well. And I thought Calafiori had a pretty poor game, to be fair, barring his header in the last minute. But other than that, I think everyone else. That was it, really. I think everyone else had to start, didn't they? Because there wasn't anybody else. So yeah.
Yeah, there was absolutely no one, and to be honest with you, it was probably, like you said, the weakest bench that we've had in a long time. Not just this season, in a long time. It just felt just no real depth to it, no real experience. Like, obviously, we respect these guys as individual players, but when they're playing, amongst other better senior players like the Nwaneris and the Miles, the Max Daumans and stuff like that. Mosquera and Hincapié, they don't have the experience. So again, it wasn't all like, as an overall weekend package of the squad. It just wasn't our best at all. And like I said, easily I would say the weakest that we've ever had. Obviously injuries, they have hampered us as much as we've sort of been a bit lucky with the way the injuries have fell so far. Now it's unfortunately time where it seems like it's catching up, and I really hope like this match was an outlier. Like I really hope it doesn't continue like this and heads drop and so on, because it just takes a long time for us to get back to that confidence that we've built already. So, and there was actually, you mentioned the commentator, there was one phrase that he used that I'm actually probably going to use it as the title of the episode, was a banana skin match. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, he peppered that throughout the whole thing, and you know what? By the end, he was absolutely right. Like it was probably one of the only fitting phrases that you could say. I mean, overall. But yeah, sorry. In terms of the lineup, I agree. That was probably the best that we could do, and so I don't really have any issues with it. But obviously, overall, of course, I do, because we have players injured who are very, very important to our starting lineup. So, first half was. Would you probably say that it was the worst of the season, including all competitions?
I thought we played really bad at Man United, but got a win. I thought we played pretty poor. Against, who was their first Champions League game? Was it Atletico away? I thought that was a tricky away game. But I just generally thought that it was our worst game by far. I mean, look, it was a bit of a makeshift front line. Or Trossard's kind of a decent regular. Marino, he scored in midweek, but different atmosphere, different game completely against Sunderland. No, I've never seen us play so bad in a first half. It was just, we were so off it. We were so far off it. It was embarrassing.
Disjointed is probably a fitting word in there as well. But so look, first I've written in the first 5 minutes Sunderland were good, but obviously in retrospect they were good throughout the whole of that first half. But that's just what I'd noted down. We did obviously have that little Marino incident in there, so I'll tell you what, before the penalty, so we'll play the little clip from Alan Shearer, and then we'll have a little chat about the whole thing, and we'll get our opinions out, right? So let me see if I can remember which one's the right one, right? So okay, here we go. Hopefully it's not too loud.
And there's a slight movement from the elbow to Marino's cheekbone. Me and Al definitely probably don't agree on it. However, I do feel like his elbow's in quite a high condition, should we just call it, and it was very disruptive, and it did. I
think as a defender, if he allows that forward to get across him, Marino, his manager goes absolutely berserk at him. That's his space, and he cannot allow any forward to get across him. So he then settles himself, and then he goes for the header. He can't jump without doing that for a header, and I don't think there's anything deliberate there at all. I think it's more brilliant defending than anything else.
And there's a
So, I mean, look, I know, I'll tell you what, I'll let you start, because I feel like you've got some stuff to say about this. So please let me know how you felt when this whole thing went down. What did you think, and the whole decision afterwards?
Yeah, obviously, I think I sent you a message straight away, and I thought, why wasn't it looked into as a potential penalty? The reason being is he got elbowed in the face for a start. It wasn't like an elbow in the shoulder or a forearm or anything. It was a pure elbow in his head. Anywhere else on the pitch, I believe that's a free kick to Arsenal and a yellow card. I did say to you, and I sent it to a few people, why isn't that a penalty? And I know obviously initially you said it would have been a bit harsh, but every time I look at it, and every time since I've looked at it, I still think it was a penalty, regardless of whether you jump with your elbows or not. It's a free kick anywhere else on the pitch, personally. Very, very harshly done by, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously get it. It was an elbow to the face, like 100%. But there's no way anyone can deny that. It's just, I think the way that it happened, it was sort of like, it happened at the same time of Ballard jumping with his elbows out, and then Marino sort of, almost putting his face in there. Like, again, I'm not saying he did that deliberately or anything. Like, it's just it was a natural thing.
Sorry to interrupt there, Larry. The only thing in Ballard's defence is that Marino doesn't jump with his elbows. He actually, if you've ever watched him, every time he heads a ball, he jumps just with his head. His arms stay down by his side. But that's just something for you to look at in the future. But that's just obviously my take on it. And he actually, Ballard jumped with his elbows, and Marino didn't. But
no, that's fair. And I think again, it's the situation where you know, but where maybe even Ballard didn't realise that obviously Marino was going to be in there, because it wasn't. It just didn't. All I'm saying is it didn't look intentional. Like, you know, it's sort of agreeing with Shearer there. I don't think there was anything intentional of him putting his elbows out.
I agree. There was. Yeah, so I agree.
It's a bit difficult for the ref to sort of give it if it wasn't intentional and it was sort of part of the natural jump. You know, I know you're saying Marino didn't jump with his elbow sort of thing. That's fine, but you know, as a defender, again, like Shearer said, you kind of have to defend your space. You know what I mean? Whereas, because all it takes for Marino is just to put his head in there. If Ballard's arms were down, Marino's head goes in there, boom, that's a goal, right? That's standard. But what I'm saying is, because he didn't do it intentionally and he was protecting his own space, I feel like that's why it would have been a little bit harsh from the ref to give it. And look, if we got it, by the way, like, I'm not saying, I wouldn't even complain that, oh, it was a bit soft or whatever. No, this fucking elbow to the face. But I understand why he never gave it, you know? And obviously, in hindsight, I wish that was a penalty, because it could have been a difference maker. But, you know, in reality, watching it, I didn't think there was much to it for a penalty. But look, you know, that's the beauty of what we do here. You know, we're having a conversation. You have an opinion, I have an opinion. No one's gonna fucking fight anyone. So it's you know, it's interesting to see what other people, you know, think out there, and like maybe, you know, see what sort of how it's split in terms of voting, if you will. But yeah, I personally, like I said, I think it would have been a little bit harsh to give that as a penalty. But at the same time, like I said, I totally agree. If he'd given it, I don't think there would have been any complaints, because the elbows were out. I know that doesn't mean it feels like I'm sitting on the fence, right? But I'm saying I don't. Yeah, I agree that it was a penalty. You know?
Do you think it's a free kick anywhere else outside the box or not? If you think about when defenders go up, and if you think about whether it's a strikeout, if it wasn't in the box and the defender does that, he jumps up and he elbows him.
Probably
99 times out of 100, the attacker gets the free kick if it's elbowed in the face. I just think if that was for Sunderland and Gabriel had done it, I think that we might have looked differently on that, and I think there might have been VAR involved with that, personally. But I just don't think we get the rub of the green at all. And
you're right. And for most of the times, you know, anywhere on the pitch, that probably will be given as a free kick. I get it, you know, but maybe it's the way of the penalty and what it can change. Look, again, I don't want to defend it, but I just feel like, you know, the way I looked at it, it was just, yeah, there was nothing to it. But that's fine. Like I said, you know, everyone will have the different opinions, and let's see if there's another incident of the similar kind, you know, in future matches, not just ours, and see what's been given. Then yeah, it could definitely be a conversation where it's like, well, hang on a minute, that was the same incident. Why is there a discrepancy yet again? But that's for, you know, that's to answer any VAR questions. It's questions for science fiction writers and fucking world thinkers. No one actually knows what VAR are thinking ever, so you know they're an enigma. But yeah, for the rest of the first half, it was a couple of decent moments from Declan Rice. Some decent sort of free kicks that he took, I guess, you know, crossed in, but there was just. There was no focal point, and this is the point now where, you know, Gyökeres is missing, and this is where Marino does not fill that role. Marino will do a job around that area, but he will never do the job that we need him to do, and that is what we needed, unfortunately. Gyökeres is a strong guy. Him against Ballard, I think that would have been a very good battle, and I think maybe Gyökeres could have been stronger.
We did say a few pods ago, maybe, you know, a month or two ago, that, you know, God forbid if the York does get injured, we'll see how much we've missed him. And I think that is the consensus throughout the whole of the fan base, where we know how important he is. Regardless of whether he's scoring goals or not, we were winning with him.
Yeah.
And this just proves the point that we missed him sorely yesterday, and that's not good enough as a club really to only have. I think we said it when the transfer window shut as well. That God forbid if he gets injured, we should be buying some other backup striker. Like I know I keep saying Ivan Toney or just someone like Ollie Watkins, just someone who can come in. I know Dominic Calvert-Lewin went to Leeds and stuff, but he does a similar sort of job to the York. He's a big, strong, daft, lanky, someone who gets people involved in the game while the other players can continue. But I just think that's criminal from the club. I know we've got a lot of players injured, but that's what we said. If York gets injured, look what happens, and he got injured yesterday, and it could be crucial at the end of the season. And 2 points that we've lost, it might not be. It might just be a good point gain, but we'll discuss that later on. But yeah, like you say, we've missed the York.
Yeah. Prime example. And we obviously, as we discussed it, because that's what we sort of do. But the fact that it happened, it doesn't make me happy that, oh my God, yeah, we are right, we are correct, and we predicted that. No, I don't want that to happen. I really wish that prediction did not come true. But unfortunately, looking at the state of the matches that the teams have throughout the season, it was just a matter of probability, really, wasn't it? And it was a matter of, unfortunately, it was a matter of stats, and it was bound to happen at some point. Whether it's a big injury or a small injury, that's irrelevant. The fact that he's injured and he's out for 2, 3, 4 games, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. What if we have another 2 matches against Sunderland type tactics? Then what? And exactly. Those will be 2 important matches, whether it's Premier League after the international break or the match against Bayern. Which one do you want to lose like that? None of them, obviously, but unfortunately, we don't have that backup striker to the striker. So it's because we have Havertz, but we don't have a backup for the backup sort of thing. If you know what I mean, if that made any sense. But yeah, look. So it wasn't as the players that we had on the field, it had to do really. But what was interesting, just moving on real quick, by the way, the ad boards. Did you obviously?
So yes, yeah. Well, hats off to them. Whether they broke the law, the rules, it's up to them, isn't it? Whether they can do that. Great ingenious plan. I mean, did we really use the long throw anyway? Both of our goals were scored in open play. We failed at our corners. We didn't. Did they score from one of our corners that we put in? We didn't actually put it into the box. I was thinking, what the fuck? Why haven't we put it in the box? Yeah. And look what happened.
Yeah, it was that terrible outside the box tactic, and you're thinking, why are you changing it now?
Yeah,
why are you changing it now?
I know.
But but again, sorry, Steve, this is the reason why they changed it, because even I think it was after the 2nd or 3rd throw-in that we had, where Declan Rice handed the ball to Timber. Was it to Timber? Yeah, to Timber, right?
Yeah.
Handed the ball to Timber. So it's like, okay, that worked. Their tactic of moving the boards closer actually worked, and like you said, hats off to them. I cannot be mad at Sunderland. I found it funny, and the fact that they actually did something proactive rather than bitch about, they didn't give me their tactics, before the match or whatever. It's like, Arne Slot. They actually did something about it. And do you know what? If you ask any fan, Arsenal or otherwise, they'd be like, all right, can't be mad at that. That's good tactics. What else are they going to do? They realize that maybe one-to-one individual players we have the upper hand. So it's like, okay, but let's just stop their set pieces, and that was corners and throw-ins. That's it. And then we had to rely on free kicks, which we didn't really get that many. And the ones that we got had, decent-ish deliveries from Rice, but there was no one there, no one to put an head in or whatever it is, and so. But that's not to say that we didn't obviously have some sort of half chances throughout the whole match. But unfortunately, they struck first in the first half, and Ballard. Yeah, I'm just going to say it right now. He was 100% the man of that match. Like overall, he was 100% the man of the match. He was fantastic, like from both ends, ends of the field. He was just brilliant and fully deserved the goal and fully deserved the draw, really. And you know what? Even if they won, would you have been like, oh, they didn't deserve to win? No, you wouldn't have said that. Obviously, you would have been disappointed. By the way, yeah, of course.
Yeah, maybe on the second half before. I think a draw was a fair result. But
Yeah.
look, listen, don't get me wrong. They probably won't play that good against Liverpool and Man City. You can guarantee that. But they're not a great team. Look, if you look at them individually as a team, they're not a great team. But what they do have is big, strong, fast, 110% committed players that will give everything. And their tactics were fucking spot on. They played us perfect. They weren't great. They sat back quite a lot. But when we had the ball, their tactics were spot on. They closed us down. They had 2 men on Saka, 3 men on Saka. But obviously that'll be down to Gyökeres not being in the box as such. But, their tactics were spot on. And, they'll give everyone a very good game. A very, very good game.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, look, that goal came in the 36th minute, and after that, I'll be honest, I just kind of deflated because of the whole, the no shots on target and conceding and clean sheets and stuff. It was a bit like, oh really, this is how we're gonna end it, like this. But in all fairness, it was actually pretty good goals. So, it could have been worse goals, could have been like off someone's ass, and that could have ended our streak, so whatever. But yeah, definitely not. I mean, were you a bit disappointed about that, specifically about that point?
Have you got the goal, did you say?
But no, so I was conceding for the very first time in a long time. Like, were you a little bit disappointed?
Well,
specifically for that point?
Obviously, we are very disappointed to concede, but sometimes it's best to get out of the way, because if it had been next week against Tottenham, how bad would that have been? Next week, in 2 weeks' time. Our next home game. Imagine if we'd have conceded and that was our first goal, how depressed and deflated we would have been. At least we've got a couple of weeks to get over it and to recoup, get all the players back. Hopefully, most of the team will be fully, and they'll be raring to go against the Spuds. It'll be a great game. But imagine, I was fucking devastated. I don't know if you want to talk about the goal. Have you got the clip or anything? Or
So their goal, unfortunately I do, because it was just like, even the commentator. So here we go. I'll just play it now. When it starts, it's not going to start. It's not going to start at all. There we go.
Moves forward. That bounce may favour Sunderland. It may favour Sunderland! Ballard! To break the clean sheet run. The Arsenal Academy graduate, who never played a game for them at senior level, has scored against them.
yeah,
I mean, did he really need to add them facts in there?
Yeah.
It made it so much
worse. Just before the game, I was trying to get a ticket, but we couldn't get a ticket. I was really trying, but the cheapest ticket was something like 220 quid in the away end. We could have got two in the home stands for £60 each, but I said to my son, if we score, you can't cheer, and he was like, why? I said, right. I said, we're not going. So I said, yeah, we'll have to watch it from home. But no, he said just before the game, he said, Ballard's going to be dirty today, Dad. And I was like, right. And he was. They were dirty as fuck. But no, get back to the goal, mate. Yeah.
Sorry. I had to really just. That was a proper LOL moment. It really was. Because I wasn't expecting it. You're right. But the thing is, just real quick on that, by the way, when I went to San Siro, obviously we were sat in the Inter stands, and I had my Arsenal cap on, and there was Inter fans all around me, and to be fair to them, they were just mocking me, as in like, look, your players are shit, or you're losing 1-0 or whatever. So it was never like, when I sort of cheered a little bit for whatever we did, they never really did much. So, but again, you're right. Sunderland fans are a bit weird, but I think you made the right choice there. I think he answered your question.
It was funny. He kept arguing with me, but Dad, I want to go. I said, but if we score, you can't cheer. Dad, but I want to. You ain't going, mate. You ain't going. Oh, and he was probably kicking off. So anyway, yeah. So in the away end, it was like 200 quid, I think, for the cheapest ticket I found. I thought it's not worth it. By the time it's 500 quid, isn't it? All in all, fuel, food, and tickets. So just thought, never mind. We'll just have to sit in the comfort of home and watch it. But Yeah, probably best that we didn't go, to be fair, because like you say, they were that goal that went in, we would have been just I think the tickets that I'd selected were just near the corner flag in their end, so we would have saw Saka obviously quite close. That would have been great for him, but I was watching when they scored how wild that part of the fan sort of section went. They were crazy, and obviously my son's only small, and he would have probably been a bit sort of engulfed, and he'd probably been a bit scared, to be fair. But anyway, no, getting back to the goal, what do you think there was anything wrong with their goal? As in, do you think we could have done better as a defence? I mean, I think Gabriel might have been a bit at fault. I thought Rice could have been a bit stronger. I may have been too harsh, but obviously Gabriel didn't jump, did he, with the header, the guy who headed it into Ballard's pass. And Rice, he was on his back foot, and it was a bit arm. Did he grab him? I don't know, was there anything? Gabriel, was it a defensive error kind of thing?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think Gabriel was kind of to blame for both goals, really.
Yeah, he was. He was, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think, look, I could probably... if this is the only match where this happens, then you could chalk it off, sort of thing. But I don't know because it's Arsenal, it's us, isn't it? And this is the type of shit that we do. It's like we do well, and then November hits. It's like November for us is like no win November. So that's literally the type of crap that we have to live through. And I really hope that, obviously it wasn't a loss, I get it, but we were looking for to extend as much as we could.
It did feel like a loss, though.
It really did. Yeah, I think when coupled in with
City.
with City winning, and obviously
Chelsea.
us losing our clean sheet record and stuff like that, it made it even worse than it's supposed to be. But with their goal, I feel like defensive, I wouldn't necessarily say error, like, as it's just maybe they weren't strong enough. Like Rice, I don't feel like he was positionally aware enough of Ballard, and I think Gabriel probably could be blamed for the same thing. And again, for both goals, let's just probably just wrap that up for both of their goals. They were good because in their defense they found themselves in the right area, and in our defense we didn't have any. So it was poor. Yeah, we expect better from our defenders, really do, and especially with Declan Rice. Maybe you could say fatigue or whatever excuse. At the end of the day, he was playing. He should have done better. So it was. They took the opportunity well, basically. They didn't waste their chances.
They were physically up for it more than us. I mean, you can nitpick on each individual position and error. But physically and mentally, they wanted it 100% more than us. It was kind of like we were just at a turn up, play our game, and we'd beat them. But unfortunately, they had different ideas, and we weren't ready for that. And that's what's the most frustrating thing. Mentally and physically, we weren't ready. And I think Arteta partly has something to blame for that first half and the second half, which we'll want to come on to at some point. But yeah, I think overall, they just wanted it more, and I think that's the top and bottom of it, really. When you have two teams on a pitch, if one team wants it more, they're with it. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, you're right. Speaking of second half, let's just move straight into it, man. I think we started definitely 1,000,000% better than the first. It was, we were just switched on, and literally it's like someone in the halftime had actually flicked the switch, and obviously Arteta must have said some stern words to our players. They came out and just very, very good. It felt like they smothered Sunderland, especially for the first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the second half, because it wasn't the full second half that we did better. I don't think, by the end, especially the closing minutes, we were shaky.
Hanging on.
Yeah, we were shaky. It's like, why did we just drop back all of a sudden? Why are we doing what we were doing anyway? They're going to leave a lot of gap, a lot of space. But tired by that point because we put in an extra shift just before that. So, but yeah, a couple of good chances. Saka had a chance. It was a good chance for Saka, but he never took it on around the sort of 52nd minute. And again, dude, you're supposed to be. I think it was close to. It wasn't a one-on-one. It was close to a one-on-one.
Was it the left-footed shot that went by the pass?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's like please, this is the time when you need to step up and show everyone why you're worthy of the world-class name. And in that occasion, he didn't. But then again, 2 minutes later, he did it. So and that kind of cancels that out. But I just thought I'd mention it. So yeah, I think the Saka goal, Rice, he steals it in the midfield, past to Eze, past to Marino, and then fucking great finish from Saka, by the way, obviously,
Yeah.
So I can't really be too mad at him. He took that opportunity, but that's not to excuse the overall performance of Saka. Again, I was watching him a lot closer than I would normally, just because I want to see what other people are telling me to see. But again, apart from a couple of flashes, was there much to it? No, I don't think there was.
Never seems to take anybody on, does he? I mean, we'll watch Doc. I don't know if you watch the Man City game. Doku was unbelievable today, man of the match by a country mile. Did you watch the game or not?
No, I was watching Formula One. I was watching Formula One, unfortunately. So,
yeah, he was absolutely electric. He was frightening today. He scored a wonder goal, and he had, Elliot. Is it Elliot? No, it was who was the guy at right back for Liverpool? Harvey.
Yeah. It is Harvey Elliott, isn't it? Right back. Yeah, it is Elliott, isn't it?
I can't think of his name now. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it's Harvey Elliott on the right.
Elliott was when I went to Villa.
No. Right? No.
Who was the one who went to Villa?
Okay, now you're testing my knowledge about Liverpool, which I don't really care about, but I will tell you right now.
I used to call him Noodle Hair.
Bradley, you're right, Conor Bradley.
Conor Bradley.
Conor Bradley, yeah.
So obviously he had Vinny Junior in his back pocket, didn't he, when they played them? But oh my God, Doku was electric. He was absolutely fantastic today. But what I'm saying is that that's the difference. World class Saka doesn't go past players, doesn't have that skill, doesn't have that trick. 9 times out of 10, he comes back inside. Look, he scored a goal yesterday, which was a great finish. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything detrimental towards his finish or anything. I just want more from him. I think that's what we both agree on, isn't it? We want more from him, just to prove to himself as well as to the fans that he can actually beat a man, because that's what wingers are there for, to beat a man and to score goals or to cross it or to lay it, but he scored, which we can't knock him for that, but the difference is huge for what I'm trying to get at, really, with his world class star boy. No, far from it.
Yeah, no, you're right, and especially when you're comparing to someone like Doku as well, who's just fearless, and he will do.
It's phenomenal.
He will go through anyone and everyone. It's. I don't want to spend too much time on Saka, to be honest, because I think
let's move on. Yeah,
because I think we're repeating ourselves, really, and match after match is not really proving more than that. And yes, I'm glad that he scored the goal, by the way. But again, people are going to have an issue with that statement as well. Like, what do you mean only the goal? But anyway, whatever. So I don't want to spend too much time on Saka. But yeah, the only difference today was yesterday, like you said, he scored a goal. So there you go. But yeah, throughout like I said, for the 25 minutes, we had a couple of chances. Zubamendi had a chance.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't turn enough. It didn't turn quick enough to sort of get the right balance to get the shot off. Trossard again, just that guy. He's been very good, by the way, very, very good, and I'm enjoying this run of form from Leo. He's just. Yeah, love to see it. And again, I'd love to be corrected, like we said before, with Trossard, because we definitely had our doubts. And then sort of a bit later on, Zubamendi again finds himself in a nice area, shoots, crossbar. It's a bit of a shame. That would have been an excellent goal. But everything. Sorry, obviously we'll get to player rating, so we'll discuss players individually anyway. But Zubamendi again, I thought he was very good amongst not so good players. But then everything sort of culminated to Trossard's absolute wonder goal. Like, wow. Like I think those were the 3 letters that I messaged you, wasn't it? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was great. It was kind of Isak-esque against Liverpool. I think that kind of power. I mean, it was outside the box, top corner. Wow, take a bow. Take a bow, Leo. It was really good, wasn't it? Really good. I didn't expect that, to be fair. And when it went in, I was like, fucking get in. Wow, here we are. Hang on. But my initial thoughts were probably the same as you. Let's focus.
Yeah.
Let's not hang on. Let's go for another goal, because obviously we knew what was going to happen, but we will talk about that.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because after Leo scored, you could actually see him mouthing to the teammates, come on, let's go, sort of thing. You can actually see him mouthing that. And again, it's good because he kind of felt like us, where it's like, all right, okay, well, this is not over yet. Let's just get that 3rd goal, and then we'll put an end to this. So it was very good to see his passion for the team as well. He wasn't just going to be like, well, I've scored, so I don't care. He didn't. He was like, all right, let's go, lads. Let's just get this game over and done with. But yeah, I feel like after our obviously 2nd goal, it sort of went more on the defending side, and we dropped back quite a bit. But please, yes, got a hand up.
This is, I was thinking about this when I watched the match, and I was absolutely screaming at the TV. Why did he take? I mean, it was obvious what was going to happen. I think Eze came off in the 82nd minute, was it? Or 70? Was it 77th or 82nd? It was quite late on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was around the 82nd minute, yeah.
Right, to try and shut up shop. Now, it was clearly evident that they had all the midfield, right? So why would you take a midfielder off and put a defender on when they clearly had more possession and more power, and that's what they were going to do? And putting a defender on doesn't help the tactics of the way Sunderland play. We would have been so much better to either leave Eze on, or I don't know if Norgard was on the bench or not, but put another midfielder on. Was Norgard on the bench?
1 second, please. I will come back to you with that information. And Norgard, yes, he was on the bench.
Yeah, you must have seen it exactly like me. There was no midfield. Rice was there on his own. Marino kept dropping back, but he was cement boot, obviously, as you know. Saka, he was at fault partly, if you look at it, for their equaliser, because it came off him. He just stuck a lazy leg out, and the ball ricocheted to the midfielder. Marino trotted across, didn't put a foot in. But we were flat out. That this is the problem, and this is where Arteta is going to he'll fail, because of his inability to tactically change a game. Like, if that had been, I don't know, Klopp or Pep or whoever, in the heyday as such, if that was in the same position, he wouldn't have put a defender on. Whoever it was in that position, any manager worth their salt would not have put a defender on that have seen and realised that they had more than midfield, and to stop the balls going into the box as such. You fill your midfield out to stop them balls and push up. We just sat back, and it was just inevitable. And when it happened, obviously, you could just see it. It was so frustrating. I thought, where was the midfield? There was nobody. If you've got the clip, or if you've got you've got that in front of you of what happened leading up to their goal, but it was just a calamity, and you could see it happening.
Their goal, Robbie's goal. So I've got that here. So let's just have a little listen to the clip.
Hume, little reverse ball in, wasn't the worst in the world.
I mean, again, with the defensive errors that we did say, which sort of follows on from the first goal, and it was exactly the situation that I really do not want to see Arsenal do, and we haven't done in a very long time, is sit back like that, and that 100% damaged anything that we could have got from that game, because it was so negative from Arteta. And I just realized now, when I'm looking at the stats, by the way, this is how much I was like, what the fuck is going on? He only made one change. Right? I know. He made one change only, and not only that, like you said, he made completely the wrong decision there, because I mean, you could have literally put on you could have put on Lewis Skelly to pad out the midfield, to help with the midfield. Nwaneri was there to pad out the midfield. Norgard was there to help as well. And again, he did a job for us when he played last. Norgard, he was quite good. He found himself in good positions. Right, So it was.
But we sat back.
Exactly. And honestly, Stevie, I think that is something that I really, really thought was out of our system. But the fact that I think Arteta is scared because obviously of the injuries that we already have, and instead of being just like, this is where I need to take the risk to win this game, because that's what it takes to win this game. To
win the league.
Yeah, to win the league, potentially, absolutely. Honestly, it could be down to 2 points. Man City are not stopping, by the way.
No.
They've got other players who are scoring now. So, still Haaland scoring, but there's another player. So that makes it even scarier. But it could go down to 2 points, and these could be the 2 points that we're discussing at the end of the season. And this is the absolute disappointment of it. Just the way that the negativity of Arteta and the way that he closed out that game, which again I shouldn't even be saying closing out the game. He should have just gone for it. You know what I mean? Never mind. After a third goal, fair enough. Absolutely, close out the match. Bring on a defender, bring on 2 defenders, whatever you need to do, right? But to go to what looked like a 5-3-2 defensive sort of tactic, it's such a negative way of doing it. It really is.
If you looked at Mosquera, he had no impact. He had no say or no help with equaliser. And that was because we had no one in midfield. That guy whoever it was free just to lay that ball in the box.
It was Ballard. It was Ballard with the back header. It was Ballard with the back header to Bromwich.
No, but the guy that crossed it into the box for Ballard.
Oh yeah, right.
There was no one in midfield, was there?
Absolutely,
it was
absolutely.
There was Saka on the right who lazily, like I say, put his leg up to block our clearance, and it rolled to someone in midfield, but there was no one there to close down. And I was thinking, why we sat so deep, and they had everyone in the box, and it was just like, it's just inevitable. And I don't know what Raya was doing, and obviously Gabriel got out muscled, and you could say, was it a high boot? Was it Gabriel being weak? Was it Raya being fucking in no man's land? At the end of the day, that was all down to Arteta and his negativity that caused that goal, because we were sitting back and we were just inviting pressure, and we were literally dead on our feet, on our legs. We had no energy left. I thought, when I was watching, huffing and puffing. Rice was on his last legs. I don't know if you thought that. He ran his socks off. He had a great game, but unfortunately, he just ran his socks off. And that was down to Arteta playing him. Put Nwaneri on, nimble little midfielder that was causing problems, but just stays with his cloggers. And that ultimately could come back to cost us. I
feel like maybe even a Norgard could have come in for Rice, and then maybe even put Zubamendi in that more advanced role, or like you said, putting Nwaneri in to help Eze. But taking Eze off was probably not the right choice, because again there was no option in the midfield. There was no one to run that ball. Absolutely no. Marino was never going to do it, and that's the problem.
Embarrassing.
That's the problem. Look, the thing is right. If you put supporting players around Marino, he will definitely do very good for you. But to ask him to do what a Gyökeres would potentially do, and trying to take the ball and then run it to score, Marino's never going to do that. Like, absolutely never. So the fact that there was no real support for him as well, it made him look a lot worse. And again, I'm not saying that he had a fantastic game or anything like that. It just made him look a lot worse. It's like, well, what is the point in you now? You know what I mean? At this point now, we've got a midfield, an extra midfielder in Marino that's not really doing much. So let's just take him out. Let's potentially move Eze up, sort of in a more advanced role as a striker role, and then put Nwaneri behind. There was many other options that could have worked, especially to close out the match.
But that's worrying from a managerial point of view. When they're sat with their tactics on the sideline, looking at the way the game's going, surely out of those 3 or 4 that are on the bench, that they know what's going on and where the power and where Sunderland are looking more and more dangerous as the game goes on. And that's worrying. It really is worrying for the future, really, for the future games. Can they change it? Have they got that Have they got that in them to change a game or to seal a game? I've always had doubts, and this is what we said, didn't we? We need to be 10 points clear by March, April time. Yeah. But now it's only 4, and look at the games we've got coming up.
Yeah, it's one. Yeah, the pressure's been absolutely mounted, and what makes it funny, right, is the fact that we've gone through this season so far, and we've done very well, and we've broken some clean sheet records and stuff like that. But within one match, that lead is wiped. Not completely, but it is absolutely wiped. So, we're taking a heavy hit this weekend, to be honest with you, and especially with City winning. It's, again, I'm not saying that I wanted Liverpool to win, but I probably would have preferred Liverpool to win. If I have to choose one to win, I would have preferred Liverpool, because they haven't been the best so far. Do you know what I mean, in the season? So there's always an opportunity for them to. Yeah. So, maybe they're going to get better. Maybe they're going to just sort of plateau until the end of the season. I don't know. Again,
exactly.
But City winning is an absolute no-go. That's an absolute yes or no-go. That's what that is.
The only positive I see with that result is that, look, it's taken Liverpool literally away from any challenge so far. And Liverpool do host City at some point next season, so they then could beat City when they come
next year, by the way, not next season, next year.
Did I say next season?
Yeah. I'm sure they will do, definitely, but that's another point.
But I think next year, when obviously Liverpool, hopefully, but we don't know by then, it could be completely changed. Liverpool could be 5 points clear of City when they play them, and we could be thinking, no, we want City to win. It's just, you just don't know, do you?
We could be 6 because all of our main players are injured. Absolutely. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. This is the beauty of football.
That's weird, isn't it? I mean, look at Villa today, bizarrely beating Bournemouth, who were flying. Yeah. Bournemouth could have gone second, and they're getting trounced 4-0 at Villa, who,
So it kind of makes me a little bit, so it makes me feel a little bit more at ease, because it's like, okay, it's just one of those weekends where this needs to happen for the stat reasons and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I feel, it's only until next match week that we will have our answer of what's happening here. You know what I mean? And hopefully we've got our players back, and we don't need to really play the way that we did against Sunderland and so negative.
Just getting back to that. Like, look, we won't play a harder team than Sunderland. Believe me, we will not play a harder away game than that game.
They've got a very good balance across the whole team, don't they? Because obviously,
just everything about the physically, the commitment, the speed. We will not play anyone like that. Mark my words. But anyway, sorry.
No. I agree that they're a proper team. They are a proper team. When you look at them,
they're not fourth for no reason, are they? They're fourth for a very good reason.
And they
beat Chelsea, didn't they?
Match week 8, are we 9? Match week 8 or 9? We just finished. I can't remember which one it is. But again, we're sort of they've maintained that. Like you said, they deserve to be where they are. It's not a luck thing, But I think they're a complete team, and I think sometimes that is a massive threat to other teams, like a City, for example, who kind of rely on one player and whatnot. Whereas, if you have a whole squad, and I feel like that's what Arteta's trying to build, and I think we had that up until now, until we got the injuries. You know what I mean? Because once Gyökeres is back, and then we've got the rest of the players back, sort of thing. I think that's the whole squad is a lot better, and I think we discussed this last episode as well about individuals versus the whole team. And again, as a team against Sunderland, we couldn't match them really. I know it was a draw, and people were like, well, we didn't lose. I get it, but it's those types of teams that if we beat, then it's like, all right, okay, Arsenal are absolutely for real here. And I'm not saying we're not. There's still a long way of the season to go. Anything can happen. So, but you did mention just before we sort of close up on the match itself, you did mention Raya on their equaliser, but before that, Raya did make about 4 saves within a matter of 5 minutes, and there was some tremendous saves. Like, one of them was offside, so we can't get too excited about it, but the fact that he obviously didn't know that, so he went down 3 times, swatted the ball. It was a thing of beauty to watch, and I'm glad that it was offside, by the way. As much as I'd like to give him the credit for a great save, I'm just so glad that was offside, because the play ended there. It's like, all right, that's it, it's done, okay. No more chances for you. But there was another one like I put it around the 85th minute. Raya, great save, came out quickly. So again, he is very good as a keeper, but I feel like this match, complacency had set in a little bit. Right, it's like you need to be a lot quicker, and I think because of the matches that we've had and defensively how we played, it's kind of like Raya's not match fit. Right? Does that make sense? Because
I understand. Yeah,
you know what I mean. He isn't really
totally
match
get it,
fit.
yeah.
So and again, this is a fear that we had last time. Last time out, we talked. You know, what's Raya going to do when the ball actually goes to him? You know, how is he going to react? And unfortunately, this time,
because I think it's true. I think if I remember rightly, like, you know, every time I watch a team that has a keeper that seems to be doing 100 saves every 5 minutes, it's unbelievable. You can't beat him because they're kind of up to speed. They're ready for it and they're in the groove as such. Whereas Raya doesn't have that much to do normally, and he hasn't for the last 10 games. So when he has had to kind of defend and be a keeper, I mean, he was completely, I think, at fault for the second goal. Completely, him and Gabriel were.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
You know, two clowns. And David Seaman, you know, he alluded to it, I think, in one of the shows, that he was at fault, and I do. Obviously, yeah, you said about his a couple of saves before that, and he did make some good saves, but for that equaliser, what was he doing? He was in no man's land.
I think the lack of communication between him and Gabriel was 100% at fault for their goal, and it's very weird because it was a goal that we don't really concede, you know, from corners or from crosses or whatever it is, you know. We don't really concede that. We're very strong usually in the air, but I don't know. I don't really know what happened in you know, against Sunderland. Could have been, again, like we said, fatigue, whatever. But I don't know. It was very, very disappointing from Raya and Gabriel.
Wasn't it? Combination of a lot of things, you know, fatigue, you know, lack of physicality and concentration,
tactics,
and, you know,
lack of tactics, lack of change. I agree, and I tell you what, we'll get onto the player ratings. Sorry, there was obviously the Calafiori chance right at the end, and the Marino shot blocked, which was
poor.
It was poor, but it kind of summed up the match, didn't it? It's like, all right, that's it.
I didn't think he did it. I didn't think he tried hard enough. I know that's just Marino's gate, where he always looks a bit nonchalant. He's technically very good with his feet, but. And you know what I mean, like a Gyökeres, Alan Shearer, Drogba type of centre forward would have got in there quicker and laced that ball at the back of the net. Personally,
and again, this is his shortcomings in that position, isn't it? Really, you know, he does some things well, but then some of the things that you'd expect from a proper out and out striker to do, he won't do because that's not who he is. So, unfortunately, Stevie Ray, I think for me, Marino is the type of player where it's like. Kind of like Trossard, where can't really talk too much shit about them because they've pulled us out of some serious trouble. You know, whether it's last minute winners or just scoring the goals or just literally the only players who are scoring in matches. I feel like he's earned that from me, right? I feel like I can't really say too much shit about Marino, but you're absolutely right. He is not the complete package of anything. Not even in midfield, not a striker, whatever, right? He's not that guy. He is an absolutely auxiliary type player where you just plug and play. That's it. He is a replacement battery until your battery arrives, right? That's who he is. That's all he is. He's a placemat, right? That's fine. I'm happy with that. I know that sounds harsh.
Mobile chicane.
I know it sounds harsh, but I don't mean it to be that way because, like I said, I really do respect him as a player, and I know it sounds stupid, but I kind of like watching him play because it's like, oh, dude, you're so funny when you play. He's so funny when he plays because even the goals
falls over, doesn't he?
Yeah, even the goals.
He's ridiculous.
Exactly, he's a clown. I love it. I love it. I love watching him. I love watching him. All right, stop it. He's one of my favorite players after Zidane, I tell you, to watch. But yeah, so yeah, obviously that I feel like Calafiori should have probably done a little bit better, but the keeper was just on it, and like I said, it was the only way to end that match. We would never. It was a way of saying you're not going to win it. That's it. So
I think if we'd have won it, the confidence would have been amazing.
Through the roof,
in any game,
through the roof, man.
And I think that's just brought us down to earth a bit, isn't it? You know, that we've got to be on our game for 95 minutes every game till the end of the season, because nothing's in November. Like you say, I think Pep mentioned it at the start of this Liverpool game, and he said, look, nothing's won in November, but he said leagues can be lost. I think what he was trying to have a sly, indirect dig at us for dropping points, and obviously when they beat Liverpool today.
What happened last year? Same thing happened last year in October, November time. Same thing happened last year, and we were favourites to win up until that point, and here we are again. So yeah, as much as people could be like, "Oh, Pep had a sly dig," yeah, absolutely. That's and the thing is, we deserve that really, because especially as a fan base, because we're very mouthy as a fan base out there, right? And I don't like us to be that mouthy. It's like, just pipe down until we win, all right, and then you can do whatever the hell you want just until we win. But so I think he is 100% right there, isn't he? Really. So, but. Yeah, look, should we move on to some player ratings?
Yeah, go for it.
Player ratings? Right, cool. So, hold on, I don't know why I'm looking at my notes for player ratings. That's not where they are.
Your little red book.
My little Yamaha
little Bible
book. Yeah, absolutely. Look at it. It's so cool. Why Yamaha? Because it's the best. But yeah, you said that it's brought us down to earth, and I really hope it's just for a quick refuel, and then we can shoot back up there again, because I don't like it down here. Let's go with that analogy. I don't like it down here. Do you know what I mean? I don't care for it. I've been down here before.
I know. It's not good. We need to be 6 or 7 points clear, don't we? I don't like being 4. Although 4 is better than 3, because obviously 4 we can lose our next game and they can win and we're still top. So that's what I do like. But we need to get another gap again. Another 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 points. But hey, we'll never know, because they've got Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle are playing shit at the minute, but it's not an easy place to go.
No.
We've got Spuds. So you never know. We could be 7 points clear again next by the time we play.
Anything can happen, and we've seen Tottenham play, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because we're going to face them, and obviously they'll bring their absolute A+ star game against us that they'll never ever play ever once in their lives again. But it will happen. It's just sod's law, really, isn't it? It's the way of the Arsenal, but not like Tottenham, because we win shit. So right,
that's right.
Okay, I'm going to cut that bit out because we don't win shit. We haven't won shit in time, so.
Don't go there.
No, I'm not cutting nothing out, man. This is uncensored. So, right, okay. Look, let's start from Raya. Fuck it. These guys are giving him a 6.0, and I don't. Okay, let me say that in proper way. They've given him a 6.
6.0.
6.0. Yes, that's what they've given him.
I agree. I'm not on his side, unfortunately. I know you are. You're sort of bigging him up with his couple of worldies. I think he played pretty shit, to be fair. I thought his distribution was rank. I thought, he made 1 or 2 saves at the end, which most keepers probably would. But I thought it was at fault for the last goal, mate. And I'm sticking with a 6.
That's fair.
Sorry, David.
No, that's fair. I think the max I would go to is probably a 6.5, but. I'll stick with a 6. That makes sense as well. I can't be too mad at that rating, to be honest. And yeah, last goal. What the hell, man? What are you doing? What are you doing with your hands out like that? Like, what are you expecting? By the way, you expecting? Yeah, like what is this? What is this? Right? What is it?
I know. I can see it in my mind's eye. I can see he's like that picture of his face going out like that. Who catches the
ball like that? By the way, what the fuck is this?
His legs were. How his legs ended up. As well as that, there was a still, and someone said as the Virgin goalkeeper or something like that. I was like, oh, fucking hell.
That's the Virgin save. That's what that is. That's the Virgin save.
Terrible.
Yeah, no, that wasn't good. I don't know what he was trying to catch with his arms out like that, to be honest. But anyway,
seeing 2 players going in, you'd go with your fist.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so. But again, it's that match fitness.
Line here, we'd caught it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't anything sort of too special there. He could have potentially, if he had positionally in the right position, he would have actually saved that. But no.
God. Yes.
Timber. What are you giving Timber after that match?
Okay. I think he struggled a bit, to be fair. I thought he started off all right, but I personally think he struggled. I know obviously he got a bit of an injury. Which could have affected him, but I thought he struggled all game. and it wasn't his best, but I can't really give anyone a decent score, so probably 6.5.
That's cool. These guys are giving him a 6.7. I'll probably go with 6.5 as well, because nothing special. And yeah, you're right. He did struggle. There wasn't enough support for him. Like, again, we'll get to Eze, but because he wasn't performing at the level that we need him to perform, that sort of goes back to Timber as well, because, you know, that's the way that we've used that right hand side, has been linking up those two players in that position, you know, whether it's Eze, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's Timber or White or whatever. That's how we play on that side, and if one's not performing very well, the other one usually isn't performing well either. So, but we'll get to Eze's score. Rating. Saliba, right, they've given Saliba, right, a 6.7, and they've given Gabriel a 7. Now, because I feel like Gabriel was probably to blame for both goals. I'm not saying 100% him only, by the way, but for the most part, I think he was. I don't agree with that, and I think if anything, it should be the other way around, and Gabriel's score should be a lot lower.
So the Ballard flick for the second goal was Saliba contesting it with him potentially. So was Saliba at fault for not winning the header? Maybe that's what they looked at. You know, he had a chance to equalise. He blazed it over the bar, didn't he, just before half time? But other than that, I don't think he did anything wrong. He didn't. You know, I don't think he missed tying any tackles. I don't think he was he's just his usual self. So like you say, I agree that Gabriel was at fault for probably both goals, like you say, and Saliba was not at fault for both goals. But I can see where they're coming from with that second one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just watching the second goal now, and it was... it was Zubimendi who was sort of in that in the first mix, and then the way that Gabby just doesn't stay with his man, and he let Robbie run straight past him. Do you know what I mean? And that's so frustrating, because he switched off for that split second, off, his man ran past him. And yeah, I can't blame anyone but him. You know, even why is Zubimendi contesting that ball? Right, Zubimendi's in the area. Like, shit, he's not going to be like, oh, that's not mine, I'm just going to move away from there. He's never going to do that. He's always going to jump up, and he's going to try his best to even just put off the attacker. But unfortunately, yeah, on that occasion, it's Gabriel 100% at fault there. I'm just going to take you back to the first goal real quick, Stevie, before we so first goal, where is it? No, that's our goal, actually. That was pretty good. So first goal, ball comes in, Gabriel with the initial head. Gabriel.
Why didn't he jump?
Yeah, that's what I'm just watching now. It's like
we just watched the guy head the ball back to Ballard. Why didn't he actually attack the ball? Yeah. He just was like grounded to the floor, wasn't he? Rooted to the floor.
He was, and again, that's a real good question, to be honest. He just sort of sidestepped and let him through. But who was? So I think that was Rice, who should have been there. Yeah, who should have really been there. But I'm sorry, there's only so many things that we can ask from Rice as well. You know, he's, like you said, fatigue wise, he's run for I don't even know how many kilometers he's run in the last 3 games. Right? I don't know if there's a stat out there. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, that was just unbelievable, sort of the way that he's played, but I can't really blame him too much for here. But again, look, that's all it takes. Split second. Any team can score goals past you in the Premier League, and that's the beauty of it. So so with Gabriel, I'm gonna go with a 6.3, right? It's going to be pedantic, really. Just going to go with a 6.3.
6.25.
6.25. I love it. And for what's his face, for Saliba, I'm probably just gonna go with a 6.5. To be honest, there was nothing. Yeah. They were definitely both below par in this match. But again, Gabriel a little bit more than Saliba.
Yeah, I know it's too early to sort of say about, you know, we're going to not win the league now, or we are going to win the league. I don't know if you remember a few pods ago, I said that Gabriel could cost us the league. Do you remember?
Don't know what you're talking about, mate. Don't know what you're talking about. I've deleted that episode from history. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, we won't say any more. But it was just a feeling that he's got that type of error in him to, you know, in times where we've probably got away with it, where we've won the game. Whereas I personally think that it could come back to haunt us, and he could do it in too many crucial games, and it will cost us in the end. Him and Raya.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, yeah, you've kind of hit some nail on the head, right? Because obviously the season's not over, so I can't just be like, oh, you were 100% right, but on evidence from
it's just a feeling, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just a feeling, I guess.
And it's just disappointing that it's maybe starting to come true, and I hate for it.
No, I don't like it.
You've said it into existence now. It's like Stranger Things. You say something, it just happens. It's out there.
Yeah, it's in that quantum kind of realm, isn't it?
Yeah, that upside down type crap. Right. Okay. So look, I think across the back four, probably Calafiori was the better one, and he's the lowest rated out of all of them. They've given him a 6.2. It's. Look, he's not much. I'm not going to say he's much better, like a 7 or anything like that. But again, just the way that he moves and the way that he plays the match, he was better than the other three. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's
you've got that love, haven't you, for him? I think you love him that much. You can't see any bad.
No, nothing yet. I don't think he was bad, but I don't think it was lower than the other three. That's all. I think
Hincapié would have done a better job. I do like Calafiori. There's certain games that, and this is my issue with Arteta, he picks the wrong players. Unfortunately, obviously, sometimes you can't help it with injuries, but sometimes I think he picks the wrong players for the wrong occasion, and I think he got that wrong yesterday. Hincapié would have been far better. I mean, he gave a foul away, didn't he, at one point when he totally kicked the. Well, he didn't actually. He missed the ball, didn't he, at one point when that guy, I don't know who it was, and he kicked him. He gave a free kick away, got yellow carded. I don't know. I didn't see anything that I thought he had a great game apart from when he popped up near the end, and he should have obviously won it for us. But I don't think the whole back line were just bang average. We normally give him a steady 7 for them all, but he was. I think they all were bang average, and unfortunately for Big Ricky, he didn't do much for me.
Yeah. I agree. And again, he's not going to be much higher rated than the others. If anything, 6.5 is as far as I would go with that. But I just felt it's a little bit, when you're looking at just numbers, like, purely numbers there, it's a little bit harsh to rate him lower than the other three when one of them at least was at fault for 2 goals. So. But yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Like you said, with Calafiori, no, don't get me wrong. I wasn't watching him in that match and going, "Wow, he's so good." Like, no, he's
gorgeous.
No, shit. Maybe was that what I was thinking? Shit. Hopefully, my wife did listen to this. Right. No. So 6.5, I think, is probably the max I would go to. But yeah, what was your score? What would you say?
6.25. I think you should probably on a par with. Yeah, I don't think that, like you say, 6.2, 6.3. It's nothing special. And
no.
Like you say, for his kind of air kick, I'm giving him a minus 0.5, so 6.2.
Fair enough.
He was terrible.
That was just a very long way of saying 6.2. I love it. I love you. When in school when the teachers say, show you math, show you working out. I think that you did that right on point there. Right. So Declan Rice, he got a 7.4 from these guys. Do you agree or disagree?
I find it hard to give anyone really, really good scores when we don't win, and I know that's kind of testament to the team, what they've done over the last sort of few months. At times, I thought Rice was far superior to anyone. I thought he couldn't continue from the Slavia Prague, the Burnley game, and there was times I thought he looked like he's on his last legs, and he needs to pass it, but it might be a bit harsh. I don't know what you thought. I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular, did he? I mean, I know he dispossessed their player that set up our equalising goal, but other than that, he didn't take any great corners. He didn't take any good free kicks. He was just his usual engine, but he ran out of steam.
Yeah.
And that's down to Arteta. And I think 7.4, 7.5 is about right, personally.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I mean, Yeah, I was going to go a little bit lower than that, to be honest, about 7. But about 7, but in sort of relation to the whole, to the whole team sort of thing. But I think a 7.4, again, just thinking back now and from the notes that I've written as well and how many times I've written Rice in there and nothing really too bad. So yeah, I think 7.5 for Rice I'm happy with, because he was definitely one of the better players on the night. And again, just the way that he had he sort of went in and then took the ball and stole it in midfield just to set us up for the first goal. I thought that was brilliant as well, because he can do that. But unfortunately, he was on Saturday he was the engine without much fuel, right? It was the engine with limp home mode. That's what he was. Still works, but only 50 miles an hour.
His petrol light was on from the start, so he was running on kind of the last gallon throughout the whole game, and unfortunately Arteta should have saw that and maybe took him off or put it on some other help for him. But these are the little things that change a season for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, hopefully he's going to get picked for England. He's going to play matches, and we've said this about other players as well. So yeah, it's going to be tricky really to sort of keep Rice healthy for the rest of the season because of the amount of minutes that he's going to be asked to play from national and club teams. But yeah, 7.5 for me for Rice. I'm happy with that. Zubimendi, I could probably say the same about Zubi. Maybe even, if you want to be pedantic, 7.6 or 7.7, just a little bit better. Yeah. But I'm happy with a 7.5 for both them players.
I think with Zubimendi, I think when we know he's played well, is we dominate the possession quite a lot, and we seem to have a lot of him. It seems to go through him. I don't recall it much going through him. The midfield, I think it was just like attack against defence constantly. There wasn't very little playing around midfield in both halves. So as much as he did okay, hit the bar, he played all right. I thought he was probably one of our better players, if I'm honest.
I agree.
And Rice were probably the two better players out of the whole team. But if he'd scored, it would have been nice. But again, it's down to their tactics and how flat we were as a team, really. But
just real quick on Zubi there, just looking at some of the duels that he won, aerial duels, right? 6 out of 7.
I know,
this guy, and that one that he didn't, and the one that he didn't was the one that obviously he just couldn't reach, and that was the goal. So again, I thought he was definitely one of the better players on the night, and that goal would have just made him he would have deserved that goal basically if he had it. So on the other hand, Eze. They've given him a 6. What was it? What they giving him? 6.8.
Wow,
that's a bit high.
That's way too. I mean, I know he's your main man.
No, come on,
you do love him.
Come on now.
I thought being honest. one of his worst games. I know that obviously Arteta took him off, but probably because he was having such a shit game.
Yeah.
And when is he going to come to the party? That's the question, isn't it? I mean, I think he's kind of been underwhelming. In all honesty, he's had a couple of half-decent games, but he hasn't had any 8 out of 10s for me, and that was not one of his greatest performances, unfortunately.
I think that's a straight 6 from me, to be honest. It's just very, very disappointing. And do you know what? Even just looking at some of the stats that I've got down for him as well, he had 4 shots, 2 blocked, 1 off target, 1 on target, 1 dribble completed of 1. Passing is around the 90%. Ground duels 50%. So no aerial duels. So again, nothing special at all from Eze. It's like he almost didn't even exist, to be honest with you. Even from the eye test, by the way, I know we're reading stats, but even from the eye test, it's sort of this kind of explains it. Yeah, absolutely. This puts it into numbers what we were looking at with our eyes. So I know we discussed at the top of the pod, was he the right choice to be taken off? I don't think so. For the player that came on, obviously, if you put another midfielder on, that's fair enough, because he was probably one of the weakest. Yeah. He was the weakest midfielder for us. On the night. So yeah, I think a straight 6 is probably the right one. And we move to the forward 3. I'm going to start with Marino first because I want to talk about the wings a bit. So Marino, they've given him 6.8. I mean, what do you think? Just tell me. Just put me out of my misery, bro. Like I'm looking at the stats here, and they're not looking good.
So the score, I'm only going to give him a 6. I think he was pretty ineffective, to be fair.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything apart from that shot at the end, which got blocked. I can't remember him doing anything where I thought, oh, he's had a good chance. He's had a header. He's linked up play. I just think he was so ineffective. I thought it was.
I don't like it when he takes the ball, Stevie. Sorry to cut through, right? I don't like it when he takes the ball on his feet.
Does it get stuck? It's just, I don't know. It's like the way, it's something about him. He's like he moves like a bit like a snake, doesn't he? Like when he's got the ball, his shoulders are down, and I can't really describe his gait where he has the ball, and it's like sometimes you think, oh my god, get rid of the ball, and sometimes he holds it and you think, wow, that's a nice bit of skill, and other times you think, fucking hell, he's just like, you've got 3 players around him, they're honing in on him, they know he's shit, they're going to get the ball off him, and you think, oh, then he'll fall over. But honestly, next time you watch him, his like shoulders are down by his side.
I can't stop watching him, Stevie. I can't stop watching him, Stevie. He's so funny to watch. Because you said it there, you said cement boots, but honestly, it's like his sort of like bottom half of his body is all in cement, and his top half, it does, you know that dance, you know the little car sales.
He's like someone from the 70s, I guess some sort of disco dancer from the 70s.
Yes.
You know, when you see him with the big flares on, and he's just like with his arms and his shoulders dancing and stuff.
Just the upper body moving, but the rest of the body isn't. You look like a good dancer until you zoom out. That's it. He looks like a good player.
Type of dance, in it.
He looks like a good player until you zoom out and you see the whole thing. You think, oh, okay, this guy's not moving. He doesn't even have the ball. So yeah, I think it's 6. Yeah, him and Eze were probably our weakest on the pitch by far. By the way. But yeah, so the wingers obviously each scored. Trossard, they've given him a 7.2, and they've given Saka an 8.4 and man of the match, by the way. Not just for Arsenal, for the whole match. They've given Saka man of the match.
Wow. Right, let's just rein it in. Right, for the man of the match, obviously it was Ballard.
100%.
For his goal, and for his
defensive,
his overall
everything,
prowess, and everything. With Saka, right, we're not having a go at him. Like, this is the whole thing about us. People hating, saying we hate on Saka. We're not. We just don't see this blinkered, glorified star boy, superstar, world-class player that everyone else seems to look at. I mean, what is it about him that people love? Because he scored a goal, and don't get me wrong, it was a good finish. It wasn't a great goal. It was a good finish, which I think probably the keeper should have got it. Yeah. The keeper probably should have done better, but it was a good finish, right? And hats off to him. He scored that goal. Other than that, what did he do?
So I wrote down, right? So I wrote down just before, where was it? Hold on, let me just find my notes. Let me go through my notes real quick, right? So just before the first half finished, I wrote 0 dribbles completed, right? And then within minutes, he completed a dribble, right? And that was that. That was all she wrote. Oh, sorry, that was all I wrote in this case. And then looking at the stats here, because I just wanted to see if I was right or not. And guess what? Successful dribbles, 1 of 6. Wow. 1 of 6. And again, it goes back to, there was a question, by the way, that we had on our YouTube. There was a comment, where the guy thought that we were comparing, we were saying that Madueke is better than Saka. And again, we just need to make that clear, right? We've never actually said that. All we said was that Madueke offers something different to Saka. And I feel like Madueke would have had his dribble stats would have been a lot better and a lot more on point, because that's just the type of player that he is, and that's the type of player that we needed on that, on Saturday. Saka, again, very good, but the way that he plays, just fucking make him a striker then. Make him a striker. Like, the lack of dribbles that he does, and the sort of, he doesn't do the same runs that he used to do anymore. Just put him through the fucking middle and give Madueke something, put him, obviously when he's back, of course, and make him play on that side. Do you know what I mean? So there's no real, there's no real benefit as of this season so far to have Saka, and then the whole point of us saying what we said was because Madueke offers something different. But we're not talking historically, because obviously Saka is better than Madueke. He's proven that before, right? Like, just the way that he's played before. But again, we're not talking historically. We're talking this season strictly. And when Madueke plays, or played, we were excited, right? We got excited. We're like, oh shit, he's going to do something here because it's unpredictable. Saka's predictable, right? So, and I'm glad that the stats back me up as well. By the way, go on.
Do you know? I don't know if you can find the stat. I don't know whether someone mentioned it on the game or after the game, and it was Saka's first goal from open play. I don't know if you can find the stat in a year and a half or something like that.
I can always try to find that stat.
Have a quick look at that, because that stat is amazing, and that should really effectively shut a lot of the Starboy lovers out there. But we're not Starboy haters. We're reflecting on what eye test says. We're reflecting on the fact is, what does he do other than score the odd wonder goal? Not every single game. He's not a Doku. He's not Iron Robin. He's not a Hazard. He's not, he's not this superstar winger. He's not a Semenyo. He's nothing at all like them. He is an average player in a good team.
Look, he is a good player. Like, I can't doubt that. Like, I'm not taking that away from him. Definitely not average. But you're right. No, when you put him up against, like, for example, like a Doku, for example, that guy's frightful. You'd love to have him in your team, right? If they go, Saka's being subbed off for Doku, you'd be like, yes, let's do this. Do you know what I mean? Because again, he gives me confidence. And again, Madueke, I watched him when he played for Chelsea, and the only thing I would say that he was a bit too ball greedy. Again, he just couldn't make that right decision. Bit young, whatever. But now, with the right coaching in Arteta, I think he's going to change that, and I think he's going to become a bit more impactful. I'm going to get hate for that, but that's fine. I don't care. It is what it is. So I'm not sure about that particular stat, by the way, but if I do find it... okay, hold on. So wait a second. Here we go. Let me just... I don't know how true it is, right? But I think the sources trust me, bro, right? So... let's have a look. So in the league,
someone said it actually on the I don't know if it was on Sky or on like a YouTube channel that was talking about Sky, and it came on. I think it was the one where who was the comment? I think it might have been, was it Glenn Hoddle and someone else? It might have been Glenn Hoddle and Ian Wright talking about it.
Definitely not sure, but I will, if I find it, I will post that up, by the way. Or if I find the clip, so I will post that up for sure.
Just search Saka's last
whatever.
Saka's last goal, open play, something in the Premiership. But anyway,
I will. 1 second. Saka's last goal, Premier League. And let's see what comes up.
While you're looking for that, obviously Trossard, he said he'd give him 7.2. I think for his goal, he deserves probably a higher score than Saka. I know Saka scored, but his goal was a lot better. I think he probably was a bit more influential in the game. Don't think he was our man of the match. I'm not sure who the man of the match was. Probably Zubimendi, probably Rice. I don't think it was anyone that got like an 8 or an 8.5. I think they were all 7.2, 7.5s, like Trossard, Rice and Zubimendi. And obviously Saka did have a decent game, but he was no way man of the match.
So this is from Squawker Football. Bukayo Saka's goal was his first from open play in an away Premier League game since April against Tottenham. That's what they've said here. I don't know if that's the right stat that you saw, but this is the one that I can see here. April 24. So it is April 2024, by the way.
So a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, so a year and a half, sorry, because you had to scroll down to get the rest of that. But yeah, absolutely. That's. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hate on Saka, are we?
No. Again, it's a stat. It's a fact out there. It's. I don't know, man. Again, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on Saka because I think we've made our feelings known so far. So, but yeah, in terms of Trossard, for me personally, if they've given Saka an 8.4, then shit, Trossard needs to be an 8.9. Right? He worked so much harder than Saka throughout the whole match. But whatever. And so in terms of Saka rating, I can go with easily over a 7 because obviously he scored the goal. I'd say 7.8. I'm happy with that.
I don't think he's any better than anyone else on the pitch.
No,
I don't think he's any
no.
better than Rice or Zubimendi. I don't think he did anything. He did not offer anything other than score the goal.
Yeah, apart from the goal.
Personally,
and again, it was a goal well worked from Rice and then to Eze, wasn't it? So it was a team goal. He just had to finish it, and I'm glad that he did, because again, people were like, well, he scored the goal, yes, but he didn't against Burnley when he had two chances of exactly the same situation. He did not score those, so that's what I was afraid of. But fortunately for us, he managed to put them away. So yeah, look, Stevie, overall disappointing. That's probably the most fitting word to describe the whole match and weekend as well. But yeah, I've got nothing else to add to the whole thing, unless there's something that you want to discuss, something that you have in your mind.
I just think, we made a fight. I think we did make a fight of it in the second half. And, don't get me wrong, we did play a lot better in the second half. The first half was fucking pants and it was one to forget. But, in the grand scheme of things, they are a decent team at home. Whether it'll impact us for the rest of the season going forward, we'll only know that when we play Tottenham. It's not a greatest of games to start, will it? Or is it a game to come back after the international break? We'd probably prefer an easier game, but I just think in the grand scheme of things, it's either 2 points lost or a point gained, and we won't know that till obviously further on in the season. It's disappointing that we're only 4 points clear, but we're 6 clear of Chelsea, who we do play the second game, I think, after the international break. Yeah. Liverpool probably out of it, so it's probably a 2-horse race. The disappointing thing is that City look relentless at the moment, and that's the really, really worrying thing. And I think when Marino missed that goal, the chance at the end, you saw that look on Gabriel's face where he just sort of knew, and it was like the fear. It was. Do you sense it or not? I sense the fact that he sensed that was the moment where we could lay down a marker. We're going into the national break, 6 points clear of whoever, and that moment when they saved it, it was just like something dropped in his mind, and he knew. Yeah. I don't know.
It was visible on especially Gabriel. Yeah, absolutely. It was visible that it was a chance missed. It was an opportunity lost there to extend the lead at the top of the table. And yeah, as much as he is disappointed, there is a lot from that match that Arteta needs to take away throughout the international break and change, to be fair, because as much as some of the players didn't perform to what they need to perform, I feel like the whole tactics were wrong, same as when we played Liverpool as well, like just completely the wrong tactics for the wrong game. I'm sure they're good, but this was not the right team to do that with, because that's all they needed. They needed a sniff of like, oh, we can pile pressure on these guys, they'll break. And we did. We broke. That's it. Whether it's complacency, whether it's fatigue, whether it's lapse in concentration, whatever justification, excuse you want to use out there, this was a very disappointing weekend. And it's not taking anything away from what we've done so far in the season. Obviously, I'm realistic. I'm not going to be, that much of a pessimist, but.
Do you think it's not the fact that we've had such a great start? It's the fact that we've had such a great start, and it feels like it's all been in vain. If you know what I mean, like we've won games, we've kept clean sheets.
That's what I said earlier. Didn't I said that earlier. It's like it just feels like it's wasted now.
It's all for nothing.
Yeah, all it took is one match to go against us, sort of thing. We didn't even lose, by the way. That was a draw.
But it feels like it It's because we know that
it's very
City
fragile
down our nest. It is, and I've always said that. I said that we're one game away from it, all caving in on us. And I think if we'd have lost, that potentially would have been more damaging than the fact that we were close to winning. All right, we didn't win. We got a point, and we are still obviously 4 points clear. But people are probably saying, "Oh yeah, we've got all these players to come back." Yes, we have, but are they going to be match fit? We've got. Havertz due back, we've got Gabriel Jesus back, we've got Gyökeres, we've got Martinelli, we've got Odegaard and Madueke. Are they going to be match fit? They might get half an hour, 20 minutes. We're still going to have that team against Tottenham.
The thing is, though, Stevie, the funny thing is that, these players are going to come back, but they're not going to come back to this match. Right, they're not coming back in time to this match. All right, so it doesn't matter when they come back. Oh, God, this and that. Like you said, it absolutely makes no difference. It could take 3 weeks for Havertz to be match fit. It could take 3 months for him to be match fit. We don't know that. And there's so many players that need to come back. How much time do we have to wait for them to come back and be at the very best? Absolutely, I agree with you. And again, I don't really like this whole, we've got players to come back, because, okay, well, we drew that match. They're not coming back to help us here, all right? So whatever happens in the future is still going to, we're still going to wait and see what happens there. So nothing's guaranteed. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter. We get players back. Nothing's guaranteed. Get them back. 3 other players get injured. Then what?
If we had a machine up front like Haaland, we could afford our injuries data the team, but we haven't got that. We've never sorted the centre forward position out for God knows how many seasons, and how many times we're going to go on about it. And I'll keep going on about, yes, we bought Gyökeres, not plenty with strengths, but who have we got other than that? We'll put Marino up front. Fuck's sake. A team going for the Championship, the Premiership, whatever. We've got a weak midfielder playing up front. That is criminal, in my opinion. Criminal.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think the more realistic Arsenal fans out there, they will probably agree with us here. If you are one of those people, please get in contact. We want some sanity back in our lives. And are we overreacting? Who knows? Are we overreacting?
It's a draw against a team who were fourth. Are we overreacting? No.
Well, look, we're not overreacting because we're not sitting here going, "Oh, fucking shit, the season's over," blah blah blah. We didn't say any of that. We're just analysing what we saw in front of us, and we've seen this type of stuff before in this sort of period of the year. Of the season. Sorry, we have experience in this. All right, and again, it's kind of difficult to not fall into that pessimistic trap, that nihilistic trap of everything's over now, But we're trying to move away from that, and I feel like we have, and maybe last season or the season before we could have been a bit more harsher, like, oh, fucking everything's over. But there is still time. And I don't feel like we're being, too negative here. I feel like we're just sort of analysing the match, and again, saying disappointing is probably a fair reflection of what we saw, right? And the result that we got. So, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But look, obviously we will be back at some point. When are we coming back, by the way? I don't know. Have we come back after the national break?
I want to do next Sunday. I was wanting to do, I'll talk to you off air about it, but okay. I want to do one next Sunday if you want.
Let's do it. We'll do one next Sunday, absolutely. Because obviously I know that there is no Premier League, but it doesn't matter anyway. We'll discuss something else. I'm sure Stevie's got something planned. And if you do want to be part of that, please do be part of that. No, okay, whatever. Just hit the like or the subscribe. Get involved in the posts on YouTube. Leave a comment, good or bad, it doesn't matter. We'll get back to all of them. And thank you so much for listening. We will catch you next week. Maybe earlier. I don't know. Right. Good night from me, and stay safe, stay alert.
Au revoir. Oui. CC.
Love it.